We're just going to take you on the extended tour. I'm going to show you what went into the design, all the different things we did. It's again a 148 extended high roof. It's all-wheel drive. So let's go ahead. I'm actually going to start with you in the back, Tyler. You can show them around the electrical system. All right, we got T in the garage here. What's going on back here?
Oh, just a lot of a finished van. We'll go over your electrical here in the garage. So on the driver's side of your van, we've got your off-grid electrical box. Everything in here is going to be Victron Energy. Inverter charger up here. We've got 3 batteries in here totaling 600 amp hours, all lithium, as well as a wake speed alternator regulator for the dual alternator that we install in these to go ahead and keep your batteries charged up. So that way you don't need a generator, as well as your batteries are charged while you're driving. On the back side of your box here, we've got these 2 posts, red and black. Those are trickle chargers, so if you ever drain your batteries down to where they won't take a charge anymore, you can hook up a small trickle charger to these posts. That way you don't have to tap into your electrical box.
Just like a charging post on your main battery if you needed to jump? Okay.
Exactly, yeah. It's just quick and easy in the back. We've got your DC fuse box, Shore pigtail, Shore breaker, little car charger for a rear fridge back here. That's pretty much it for your electrical box.
And you can't see inside the box, but you've got a gap there. What's that about?
So we like to build all our boxes so that in the future, say, you want another battery, you've got a spot ready for it. You can just throw that battery in, add the wires, and you're good to go. You don't have to redesign your whole system. It's meant to just be plug and play. And
so that any Victron technician could go in there and add a battery without any major construction.
Right, exactly. Very simple and easy.
Okay.
Over here on the passenger side of the van, we've got your water system. So back here, we've got a 23-gallon fresh water tank. Your water fill is up here, as well as a rear shower. We've got a quick connect hose back there, so that way you don't have to leave it dangling when you're riding around. You can just hook that up whenever you need it. Just below that, we've got a Bosch hot water heater back here. These things heat up in less than 10 minutes. They're great. And then we like to do PEX plumbing on everything. Very easy to work with, very leak proof and all of that good stuff. Shut off valves in case you ever need it. A pressure water pump down here underneath, so that way it's only running when you need water.
And you've got real good access there if it needs any maintenance or to look for leaks or whatever. So.
Right, as well as there's a pre-filter there too, so you can get all that stuff cleaned out. That's pretty much it for plumbing here. Obviously, we've got a nice big crate back here. We've got a door on the rear as well as a door on the front, and tons of storage in the garage. Access to your spare tire right here through the floor. Just goes in there. And this is the factory plug.
Just a note on this, all of the dog people have stuff that they're trying to store. So what we do is we get a list and we try to get the depth, the width, all that. And so in this case, we knew we needed 37 inches. So 37 inches kills out to right there. They actually have about 39.40 if you go all the way back to the back of the trim where the doors close. But, getting those numbers in advance for all the X pens and folding crates and dollies and things that they're going to put in the van is important. And then that dictates, between that and the minimum size for the dog, you sort of pinch that crate till you have enough room back here, and that's how you make those decisions.
We've also got bug walls here in the rear. So this one you can see is just a screen bug wall. These customers also opted for a cool chill wall. This wall just zips right in here. You take out your screen, and that way you can have your back doors open, run your air conditioner, but then you still have a great open view towards wherever you're parked at.
Okay, cool. And that's the first time we've done those. I think they're pretty new from bug wall.
Yeah, very nice though.
All right, we ready to go to the inside?
We are.
I'm just going to keep it rolling, run around the rest of the exterior features real quick. Our standard gray water tank is under the van there. You got your 30 amp shore power hook up there. There's the bunk slider windows we put in. Oh, another feature here, I'll show you here, but we'll talk about it more in there, is this, I forget the brand, Wolf. That's a rear view camera we put on the van and had to wire it through the ceiling. The client wanted to be able to basically have full-time camera while they're driving down the road. So we'll show you that once we get in here. Hey guys, we're at the end of another build and we got everything but the celebratory cocktails, but I wanted to do an extended tour for you on the inside, talk a little bit about what the client was looking for, and then some of the unique things about this build. So just to start with, we have a couple. They're both, I think their heights are 5'4" and 5'8", which is music to our ears because that means they've got plenty of width just, naturally. For the queen size bed going perpendicular, that's what we got in the back. This is the first time they asked for Well, I'll get into that later. I want to just talk about their dog situation. So they have Belgian Tervurens, and they do have shows, but they're also doing a lot of field trial type things. And so for that build, they needed basically crates for 3 adult Tervurens, which you see here. And these crates are all a little bit different from each other just because, you know, they have different dogs that they'll fit in different. And then obviously you're going to put a younger dog up here because it's got to jump in. We also created a second door back here. If you want to see, this is the first time we've done it. The dinette gave us an opportunity to load through this bench here. So that makes it easier. They can jump in, but it makes it easier to get in that way. And I'll talk more about that when I get into the bench. It's stored there. And then you've got this would be for the biggest dog, probably their male would go in here. It's got front door and rear door there. So, and then the other part of this is they have the three dogs, which excuse me. Typically when we get 3 dogs, that's a pretty easy build for us spatially because, you know, oftentimes we're putting 5 or 6 of the same size dogs, like the one before this and the one after this are going to be that way. But in this case, they wanted this dinette for specific reasons. And this dinette running lengthwise rather than across meant that it took a lot of our space this way. So we did end up having to sort of maximize every spare inch. The reason they were looking for that, one of the reasons was, you know, when they're using it, they want to face each other and have dinner, that kind of thing. But the other is that they're going to, like I said, she's a judge for some of these field trials for the Tervurens. And so when they're out at the field trials and judging, they're going to be 2 of them that are going to need their own desk, basically. Also, for the clients, husband and wife, they both have laptops. So we actually have 2 tables, and we have 3 of these Lagoon mounts. One here, which is a stretch to the passenger. It's more just for indoor-outdoor usage, and then you can pull it up, and it matches the countertop there. And then the third one is down here, which allows them to use these 2 swivel chairs together. And so, you know, you have good space for them to, they also have maps and things that they have to be drawing on for the field trials. So that gives them all the countertop and working space that they need to do it. And it puts some demands on the crates. So, I think that's it on the usage side of things. Otherwise, it's pretty standard. It's a full kitchen. We did get the second alternator in here. We got the 13.5 BTU AC. We got the max fan, the Vitrofrigo. I'll go over the kitchen separate in a minute. One other feature they asked for that was custom and is this, what was it called, Tyler? The Wolf?
Is a Wolf box, rear view camera and dash cam. So you can see here when I turn on the van, that is going to be, oh, well, if I turned it on. Hold this for me, will you, Steve?
You got it? There you go.
All right, so you can see here we've got a front view facing camera as well as a rear view facing camera, and you can adjust all of those things. It works as a dash cam. It's going to be running basically all the time. It's got SD card storage in there, so even when the van is parked and you're away from it, this is going to be recording front and rear. So if someone, you know, hits your van in a parking lot, security reasons and stuff, it's going to be recording that full time, as well as if you're towing anything, or you just can't see very well out your rear windows. That camera right there is going to give you a great view of everything in the back. So if someone's, you know, tailgating you or you're trying to change lanes and stuff like that, it gives you a nice wide view.
Effectively replaces your rear view mirror that you lost because you typically can't see back there. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I definitely think it's a great addition, you know, a nice peace of mind, and makes it easier to drive these vans. And
we wired that up through the ceiling. It goes to the rear camera, and then we actually put, what, 2 wires in the ceiling?
Yeah, there's a replacement wire just in case anything ever goes bad or haywire with that. Instead of having to, you know, run a wire from this camera up through the headliner all the way to the rear of the van and outside, there's a quick disconnect in there where you can just unplug the old one, plug in the new one, and then you're good to go.
So that we're always trying to when we build these vans, we're always trying to make it so that if you do have to do maintenance, that you're able to, in that case, we have a wire in there because we can't take it apart really after it's put together. These are all, you know, secured down walls and ceilings. Other places, and I'm going to show you in a minute, we try to provide access or a way to take things apart so that any systems that might need maintenance in the future, whether it be your plumbing or your electrical for upgrading, that you have access to work on them without having to deconstruct the van. It's an important thing. It's something I kind of brought over from sailboats because I'm always annoyed, like when they'll bury plumbing behind a wall and I have to deconstruct that whole side of the boat to get at plumbing. To me, I consider it a design flaw, basically. But anyhow, sometimes you do have to block things off. But if there's a way, we like to leave access to it. Beyond that, let's go through heating and cooling real quick, and then we can jump into some of the other stuff. You got a max fan that works together with the bunk sliders in the back. We've talked about that before, how you can kind of crack one of those and run this. This goes both directions, 10 speeds. Also has a rain sensor, so it'll shut if it's raining. But that allows you to create sort of a vortex and move wind through here, create a wind tunnel effect. Back here in this van, it's the first one we've ever had. We usually put the heads on that side for some reason. We always have. They asked for it this way, and we actually came to it together. The reason why was that when this is set up with the drop-in, their plan is not only will they load dogs into the crate that way for the upper crate sometimes, but this is a way for them to get in and out of bed, easier than jumping in and out. And then for the dogs can do a hop up here and then a hop up onto the bed. They also asked for sconces on both sides in case they change it around in the future and want to do, switch their ends. These have USB in them. They're also, how many USBs did you say we have in this van?
We have 13 USBs in this van, so there's more than enough places to plug in and charge all kinds of different supplies.
So they can charge their friends' phones and whatever other things they have. So yeah, you've got both type USBs here. We also have 3 outlets. We're always trying to put an outlet in arm's reach, and they were specific about where they wanted theirs. You're showing them, yeah. So I think we pointed out the Framo back there. All these 8 LEDs are on 2 zones, two dimmer switches for, here they are. And they basically, each one controls 4 lights. So that's the back one, that's the front one. Electric controls right here next to the bed. You have your DC stuff. You have a multi-plus controller, a multi-control for the inverter charger. Your main breakers are here, nice access there. And then we had some extra space here. So we just made a little cubby for keys or collars or whatever they might want to do. I like all the black hardware on this. I like the black on the hardwood. I think it looks kind of classy, and this composite sink is really nice. Forget the exact material, but it's nice. And then standard on all our vans are these airline style uppers, and we have soft close hinges on those. That kind of covers the living. Like I said, they wanted the dinette here. So in this case, everything, of course, is, you see how the clearance is here. We measure this table, we position it on the mount also that, like you've got use of it here. We put it here because there just wasn't a ton of room. If we put it back here, you're going to run out of room for the legs and things like that. I've also got this extra cushion in here right now, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, so we want these lagoons to always be doing double or triple function wherever we put them, and then also to have them tuck out of the way. If we to put it here, there's no way really to tuck this out of the way if they're kind of hanging out in the van and don't want it in the middle of things. We've done a couple drop-ins in the past. I'm going to show you those. So we have a drop-in set up here. And so the guys built this, so if this takes me a second, I've never done it before. It just drops there. Should be easy enough. Okay. So there's your drop-in, and then that goes between the cushions here. And so you actually have sort of a lounger here.
A day bed.
Day bed, is that what you call it?
Yeah, that's a day bed.
Where did you see that?
That's just what you call them. It's a day bed. So you don't get your real bed dirty. You lay in the day bed.
In the day bed. So there's the day bed.
I'm a big day bed advocate.
Do you have a day bed, Tyler?
I do have a day bed.
Do you wear your pink hat in your day bed?
I do. It's salmon, but yeah.
It's not pink?
No, it's salmon.
All right. So anyhow, this is as titled the day bed. Here you see I think I showed you this already, but they've got the door which allows easy loading to this crate.
Especially if you have a senior dog with not good legs, you don't want to pick them up, they can easily hop right in there.
Yeah. So that's that.
And then where do you store those when you're done with them?
These? I would probably put them in the seat. Is that a good place?
It is a good place.
All right.
Both of these dinette benches right here open up, and there is lots of storage inside of them. I will peek in there. As you can see, this drop-in barely take up any room. Flower.
Cushion in there too.
Cushion fits too.
Does it go?
I think it fits the other way. Oh, that works too.
Start your compression.
Everything stores out of the way.
And then, oh, another custom feature here is, we put a safe in here, which is pretty cool. It's got a, what is that? Like, how does it work? It's like
it's a
key,
Vault-Tec safe. You have a key that is unpickable. It is located on the front, but it's also set up with a PIN code and a fingerprint scanner so that someone can't come in here and steal it. It is also lag bolted down without access to those unless you open up the safe. So that way it cannot be removed from the van unless you know how to open it.
And this is attached, so there we go. All right. So I think we cover the crates pretty well. Then a shout out to Dalton on his slat work. Those are always nice. They add some flair and some wood to it. It's pretty.
But what if you're hungry, Steve? What are you supposed to do?
Use the kitchen or order in. We have a microwave here for heating up food. We have 2 drawers. One of the things we had to do in this van, because space was so tight, the client had requested, and I'm on board with this. I like to preserve this aisle. I don't like to close it off. And also with loading big dogs in and out and people, it's nice to have that open. So we agreed that we were going to end it where the step ends to preserve the whole thing, but that meant that I had to shorten my kitchen that I had designed by like 6 inches. So that ended up, and this is just, we do a lot of custom around here. So what we ended up having to do is, typically this would have been in column, and these drawers would have been the same width going down to the microwave, and that's your 6 inches right there. If you can imagine this scooted over. Sink, of course, hangs down in here. And so what we did was basically offset these so that inside the cabinet they're overlapping like this. The microwave is actually under the sink. The sink's footprint is like there. And then this sits off to the side of the sink wall, which is right there. So that's kind of just some of the custom work we did to save every inch we could. A lot
of it too is preserving maintenance. If you ever need access to the bottom side of your sink to say place it or change things, you can either pull that drawer or pull your microwave, and there's access under and up.
So yeah, and that's another thing that it takes some time, but like when we're designing this in the CNC, it's one of the things with that in mind, we're always trying to do things. So we actually have, 3 slots that are here that are positioned to allow you to take a long driver and get at the bottom of the sink mounts under here if you ever needed to do anything. We haven't had anyone need to mess with their sink so far. I'm going to change one out very early on, but years ago. But if someone ever does, like if this van has a 10-year lifespan or whatever, and you get down the road and you need to get at that access, redo a seal, something like that, you have access here without taking apart the whole thing. Very small kitchen in this one. You see their quick connect shower, which goes to the rear. We're storing it down here. They do have a little room left over, but not a ton because of that pinch kitchen. The Vitrifrigo, we like it. It's pretty, and it gives you a good amount. You've got a freezer up top with a mini ice tray. Thank you, Dr. Evil. We have a sprayer there. What else? We put a light in here, which also has a USB, I think, and it has a dimmer on there. You hold that down, it changes. You can also change, I think you just saw that, it changes from white to warm light, and then that turns off. What else do I need to show, T?
Swivels up front.
Yep, you got the swivels up front. I think the idea here is that if they're field trials, they want to be able to, if they have a laptop, they could put it on their lap, but also with this Lagoon mount here, they'll be able to have a workstation here, or you could use this as almost like a second dinette if they wanted to play a game up here or eat or something like that. So that's convenient. That seems too quick for a long tour, doesn't it?
A little bit.
What else we got?
Oh, the auto term heater. So underneath the passenger seat here, we've got an auto term heater that is tapped into the factory gas tank. So as long as you're above a quarter tank, that gas heater will work. It won't use any of the electrical load off of your batteries. It's got temperature control and a temp sensor here in the van. So that way in these cold winter months, you can keep the van nice and warm.
Cool. One more thing you reminded me of is you were showing them that was we use the G8, which is gate, clever thing, but their company from UK has like an accordion style gate here, which we're sending to them because we couldn't get it in time. But basically, that we added this hardwood piece here, and it'll have 2 receiving mounts here, and the accordion gate will come from this side. It'll be mounted over here and stretch across. So that'll give them should give them a good sturdy gate for the dogs when they're hanging out and they want the door open. Again, this van is set up. It's set up for Oregon. 600 amp hours should be enough, especially with the second alternator for their cooling needs, and they also have the heater, which should be more than enough. As we design the vans, if we're in Arizona, that's a different van than we do for Florida versus Oregon. So this one's Oregon. Our next one is Atlanta. And then after that, it's Minnesota. So the Minnesota and Oregon vans don't have the same, they have different demands, but not the same like full-on heat for 8-9 months of the year and humidity. So we sort of make those calls accordingly.
So got a nice LED light out here that's strung up on the exterior of the van so that when your awning's opened up, you've got a nice light out here for at night.
All right, I think that's it for this one. Next up, we're gonna be wrapping this one up next week. And that is a dog training van. So we'll be taking you on an extended tour of that here shortly, that in about a week. The other one back in the back of the lot there, and again, our favorite gray. That's for 2 dogs, and that's the one going to Atlanta. It also has a dinette, but across an opposing aisle. So that'll be interesting to see the differences and the different ways you can sort of set up a dinette. That one doesn't have a bed, which is unusual for us. Yeah, and our spec van is still for sale, if you guys are interested in that. Other than that, I think we're good. Go enjoy your Sunday.